RCR with Paul Brennan.
Let's do another Money Talk segment here at RCR. It's great to have Farzan Irani back with us for this episode of Money Talks. Farzan, great to have you back. I hope you're well.
Yes, I'm keeping well, mate. Good morning to you and the listeners. It's good to be back.
We're talking, it's playing on the day after that we chatted, and today, as we do this, is Australian Budget Day, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. They'll be announcing something today.
Okay. One thing that caught my eye, and I know it caught yours, was the government announcing assistance in the house buying market with, well, you can go through the figures, and it sounds a bit too good to be true.
It's always too good to be true when the government's trying to spin something off, saying, "Look, we really care about our citizens," right? This is a help to buy scheme that they're saying. The one thing we never address, or the government's never addressed, is why are houses so expensive? As I said, it's the money printing and it's the inflation. But obviously, we're going into an election coming up. I think they're going to have it around, they say they have to have it in the next 3 to 4 months. So it's buying votes. And what they're saying is they help to buy. People can't afford houses, or look, house prices are so expensive. We're going to actually put in, don't worry about creating a deposit or saving a deposit for yourself, because in metropolitan cities like Sydney and Melbourne, it might take you so many years to save a 20% deposit. So just come up with a 2% deposit, okay? Just a 2% deposit. And the government will come up with about 40% for new builds and about 30% for existing homes. And the participating lenders or the banks or financial institutions will then give the customers a loan on the remaining amount. So what they're just trying to sell is, hey, we know you can't save a 20% deposit or big enough deposit, and the market's moving away from you. So we'll come in and we'll help you to buy, but we'll take equity in it. And if, as you said, it's taxpayer money being funded, made it look like the government's doing us a big damn favor to own the house again. And yeah, you remember what the World Economic Forum said, right? You'll own nothing and be happy.
Well, 2% is basically equivalent or close to nothing.
Yeah, of course. As I said, mate, when the system collapses, they get the last gullible people in. They've got to get you in. They've got to make as many people as poor and destitute as they can. So they're saying it's not even targeted at very low income people, right? So they've increased the salary threshold from 90 to about 100,000 as well. So it's not just anyone who can get it.
Which tells you that even people on a reasonable income, or would have been considered reasonable, are struggling to get there totally.
Exactly my point. And if you're earning $100,000 and the government's saying just pay a 2% deposit, it's a joke. But this is a gimmick to try and win votes for the uneducated people, or people who are sitting on the fence, or who just are sick and tired of renting and they want to buy their house. As I've said before, not only are we coming to the end of the cycle of this whole housing Ponzi scheme, these guys will get wiped out when things happen, and governments will say, okay, sorry, you paid the mortgage for the last 3 or 4 years. We have the 40% stake. You could just rent it off us. Remember what I've said, you can rent it still. They'll allow you to stay in the properties, but you won't own it. And the whole point is, if you own something outright, you're free. Otherwise, you're a slave to the system.
Wait on, question here. Whoa. So is this a way of, like you said before, Klaus Schwab, you will own nothing. Is this a way of getting everybody renting in the end? I mean, there'll be a transition phase to that, but ultimately, because it is a Ponzi scheme, you said that, because people will rush in, some will top out while the rush is still going, but there'll be a lot left holding the baby.
You're right, and that is, I wouldn't necessarily say that's the government's aim, but they have to be seen to be helping people. But the question is, it's not, I don't know why most people don't ask a simple question. Where does the government get its money from? It's by taxing us. So they're not doing anyone a favor. I was looking at, with the woke bill that's happening in New Zealand that we spoke last time, and that the bank should do the right thing and lend on commercial purposes. I looked at ANZ's profit just for the last quarter ending December 2024. And yes, people talk about billions. I've just written this down. Their profit was 2.29 billion, the highest it's ever been. Okay. We know every year it just keeps increasing. But I just broke that down into a daily amount. And you know what that is? Their per day is 10.22 million profit. That's
Per
just
day.
profit.
Wow.
10 million a day. And they
Ching,
say,
ching.
oh, we can't take a hit to our book. Now, our banks, very profitable, they are. And then we have excuses where the government says, oh, yeah, we're regulating them. You saw the RBNZ governor has also resigned. Let's say there
Yeah.
was pressure there at certain points because he
Have you
wants
heard anything
certain.
about that? Why that might be?
Yeah, he wants, well, I think there was pressure because he obviously wanted us to have higher capital ratios
Yeah.
to kind of
Oh.
prepare the banks for what could come next. And the banks are saying, no, it's because of that. We can't lend more into the economy, and that's why we can't help people. Our finance minister had said she was going to take the banks to task, which hasn't really happened either.
No.
So they carry on, they keep making their profits. And as I said, 10.2 million a day in
Wow.
profit for the biggest bank in New Zealand. And this is only New Zealand. Can you imagine in Australia? Can you imagine?
Yeah. I was even
bigger
wondering if
economies?
that included Australia, but that's New Zealand. Huh?
That's New Zealand only. Okay. So it's
Wow.
crazy. And as I said, the money doesn't exist. So they're making money on money that doesn't exist.